Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Dikbo. I'm the assistant team lead for Team 28 and also the sub team lead for the backend um, team. Okay, so I will share my screen and if you can see my screen, just let me know.
Yeah, Dipo, I can see your screen.
Okay, wonderful. So the project we are working on is a MedLocator that helps people locate where to buy drugs. You know, the pharmacy stores have to have those drugs, and then the app is supposed to show the user where they can find those drugs around them. Now, from this, I'm sure we've all read this brief, and we've seen that. Okay, from this brief now, the features we can see that are needed are, first of all, location. You know, then people want to locate where to buy drugs, and they want to know stores where they can buy those drugs. Now, normally in our track, I think we all know devs now. So we did create, read, update, delete, and we know that that's the basic building block of most applications online. So when you register, you're like creating a record. Then you can see they update their store information daily. So that's update. And reading is when they show all the stores and their drugs. So now I broke the task into um, some sections. Okay. So now for our backend now, we need to work on the business logic and all of that. So we need to handle the authentication. Basically, when they sign up, when the store owners sign up on the platform, so they need the name, the address, their email, their password, this so that they can sign in and all of that. And then their contact details in case the person has seen a store and would like to contact that pharmacy ahead of time that they are coming to get something. Then they need sign in, so they sign in with their email and password. I grouped these two together, A and B, as authentication. Then there's when they sign in, they need to um, update their drug information. So they have to add all the drugs they have currently available in the store, and they need to be able to update it every day that, okay, we have this today, we don't have this today. So that's when we come to the store information creation, retrieval, update, and deletion, the CRUD basically. And what the store owner is creating is the drugs itself. They're not creating new stores now, they're creating the drugs itself, and then maybe the price, so that if somebody wants to compare, okay, all the pharmacies around me, which one is the cheapest for this drug, they can be able to decide. So from this, we can see that we need a store model and we need a drug model, basically. And the drug model will be um, appended to the store model. So this is basically how the app works for a user, not a store owner now, a user. So the user comes, and what the user needs to provide is the name of the drug they're looking for and where they are currently located. Now, this locator is the main meat of the project. So it's basically supposed to search among all the drugs in our database, and all the stores that have that drug, it should return it back to the user, and it should arrange them in the order of the one that is closest to the user. So because it's a locator, we're supposed to find the nearest one. So we can't just say, okay, just give all the results like that. We have to arrange them in a specific order. So that's why I say the results are to be arranged in the order of the store closest to the user address. Now, since we are backend now, I was thinking we should just do the API and we'll just be communicating with the front end and we'll be using JSON to send all this information, search results, store information, everything as JSON to the front end. So it's not like a monolithic app where we are doing the backend and front end together, where we're rendering, the server is not going to be serving the views. It's just for information exchange. So that's why I'm thinking we're doing an API. So let me scroll down to the tasks now. So we're using Node, Express, MongoDB, and I hope you guys know how to use Mongoose, the ODM for MongoDB. I think we found that easier to use than the MongoDB client itself. Now, for the location feature, we need like a map. We need a map provider that has details of maps. We cannot start making map by ourselves, right? So I did some research, and normally everybody would think, okay, Google Maps, but Google Maps is kind of expensive, you know. And I looked for an alternative, and I was like, let's go for Mapbox. So we need to, even me, I don't know how to use Mapbox yet, but I'm like practicing and getting familiar with the API. So the person that's working on that aspect, we can just, or everybody can just work together and, you know, be able to use the API very well so that we can use it to get our location when we are like the store address now. Um, we need to send the latitude and longitude so that it can show on the map, it can render on the map, all those kind of things. So we're using the Mapbox API for that. So the way I split the tasks is I started with the models for the database. So basically just the store model and the drug model. So the store name, the owner, the email, the password, the address, and the drugs. I'll show you guys what I did on the model in a bit. Let me just go through the tasks for everybody. Then for Emmanuel, I gave you sign up and sign in authentication. I don't know how you are going to do your authentication, whether it's JWT or uh, any other form of authentication. If you have like a package you are familiar with, like for example, I've used Passport on a different project before. So those are just examples. So authentication is up to you. So you handle sign up for the store owner, and then you handle sign in. When they want to sign in, they have to communicate with the database. So you handle the authentication. Then for Abasi, I gave you the CRUD for the store owner. If you feel it's too much and you don't want to do all the CRUD at once, you can just let me know. So I'll just reduce the workload or give it to other people. But I just felt since CRUD is something that's always packaged together, that's why I gave um, Abasi. So for this CRUD now, we won't just be working with the store model, we'll also be working with the drugs model. So you have to create the drug and then append it to the store. I will show you my model so that you can understand really what I mean by that. And for Emeka, I gave him the search middleware. So this is for the user now, not the store owner. So when the user inputs a drug and the location, so your own function is to take in that input from the front end, then search through the drug model. I put two fields here, drug name and chemical name, because sometimes drugs have different brand names, but they are the same thing. So they are the same, they have the same components. So the user can search either with the drug name or the chemical name so that there will be a wider coverage. In case, imagine somebody wants to take flagyl, for instance, and then he searches for flagyl, but a store very close to him has loxagyl, not flagyl. If it were just drug name, it won't pop up. But if the user searches the chemical name as a metronidazole or something, you know, Loxagyl will also be picked up and to show on the map. So that's why I included drug name and chemical name. Then for ideally, I gave you the proximity middleware function. So basically, this from these search results now, there will be like I don't know if it will be an object or an array of all the matches. So it will be sent to the next middleware. So your own proximity middleware now is to go to the store location of all those drugs in these matches, and then use the Mapbox API to compare their distance with the user input distance. You know, when the user wants to find a drug, they'll give you the drug and then the location. So Emeka is working with the drug, Ideally is working with the location. So the API itself, the Mapbox API will rank them in order of distance. So you have to like do some some magic there to arrange the results in an array. So once you've done that, back to Emeka again. So this is just basically to return the results to the front end. It's just like rest.json, response.json, you know. So just basically to create the JSON object. So that's why I gave it back to you again to like just improve your work a little. And then for James, the error controller for the API. So basically, if any error occurs anywhere in any of the functions, so you create like a base controller that just handles all the errors, and sends this in front of that an error occurred and then the error message and all of that. So this is the basic breakdown of tasks. Let me go to the model now. Okay, so I'll try and increase my fonts in case it's too small. Just give me a minute. Yeah, okay. Uh, so this is the drug model now. It has not been merged into the main repo yet. When our PM sees it, it will merge it. So this is the drug model now. You can see the drug schema as the name itself, that's the brand name. Then the chemical name is an array of strings. So because some drugs have more than one component, and for example, Panadol Extra now has paracetamol, that's caffeine. So if they are searching for using the components, they can search for different components, and if they find the match, you get. So that's why I put an array instead of just one extra name for chemical name. Then the price, which is a string, and then this store now, you can see that it's an object ID, and the reference is a store. So basically, when when a store owner is adding a drug, mm, the the function that is creating that drug, after creating the drug with this drug schema, is supposed to append the object ID of that store owner here in this section, this store section, so that when they search, they don't need to search stores, just search the drugs, all the drugs in the drug database, and then for each drug that is found, they will have the stores they are attached to, so that it will be easier to render on the map, so that it will just compress the work. If you guys don't understand how this works, basically, you can just let me know later. Then this is the store model itself now. So the name of the store, then the email of the store owner as that is using to register. I didn't put password because I don't know how Emmanuel plans to handle authentication. So, but if you need a password field, please don't hesitate to just add it to the store model when you are working on your own this thing. And then address of the store. For now, it's a string because I'm still not familiar with the Mapbox API. So I've been reading something about the address needing to have a latitude, a longitude. Sometimes that's an array, sometimes it's a JSON object. They call it GeoJSON. So I'm still doing some research on that. So for now it's a string, but this is just like for now. Maybe later when we really understood how to use Mapbox very well, we can change this address so that it will be more in line with what we need. Now you can see this drug section is an array of drug objects. So basically, just as a drug is created and the store ID is attached to that drug, then it should also come and be pushed here, pushed to this array after creating the drug, so that in the store um, model, for each store, they will have an array of drugs that they have, and then for each drug, we'll have a particular store you can find it. Now, the thing is, I was thinking of, drugs, many drugs, they have the same name, but they'll be in different stores. And if you have like um 10 store owners, a lot of them, they are putting their Panadol as a drug. I don't know how we could just have only one um Panadol drug model, but having different stores um that you can find it, which can change at any time depending on how the store owner updates their this thing. I don't know how to figure that out yet. So if you guys have any ideas on that, you can just let me know. And then for the last field in the store model is the contact. So there's the owner, his name, the owner's name, the owner's phone number, and the owner's email. So this is basically if someone sees a drug in a store and wants to like contact the owner that I'm coming right now, we need this, we need that. So help us get it ready. It's an emergency, that kind of thing. So that's why this store uh, model is as contact. So now these are the models. Let me show you guys.
Uh,
Okay, what?
Hi, Jay, sorry, can I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, for this model, yeah,
Yeah.
are we not supposed to sync with the designers first so that they will know what they're supposed to input when they are bringing up the landing app?
Yeah, we are supposed to. And I've also put it in the project document so that they can see what we need. So the thing is,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Sorry, you were saying something. I just wanted to like
yeah.
sorry for
So
more clarification.
yeah, as we move ahead, like as we continue, if we need to change any of these fields, we can always change it. We can always update it. You
Okay,
get,
yeah, sure.
yeah.
So okay, well, when you're done with the model, please, I don't know if you can also touch on the documentation,
Yeah,
because
I'm going there as well. I'm going there as well.
okay, thank you.
Yes,
All right,
because
thank you
you
very
guys
much.
understand how to like do everything. So let me just show you basically the directory
Sorry,
structure.
before you, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Zipo. Why do we need to like store references to the drug on the store model? Like, why do we need to keep the IDs in the array, that's drug array on the store model? Can't we just do like parent reference and instead, where every drug will just hold the ID for the store itself, but the store doesn't need to know anything about the drug?
The reason why I put drugs on the store model is because if a store owner signs in, he has to see the drugs that he himself owns, everything in one place. So if we are returning like from the store model back to the front end as a JSON, so instead of like trying to search all the drugs and looking for the ones that match the store ID, I was thinking we should just everything should just be on the store model at once. I don't know if you get.
We can do
Hello, I've lost you.
I don't know if like the zone network is like so demanding also. was really hoping we would use Google Meet, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
saw
chose
something.
Zoom so that we could record it
If we do
for
parent reference, so
Oh, okay. That works.
Okay, so you were
you
saying
understand what
something
I'm
about
saying?
parent reference and
Yes, we can do parent referencing. The store doesn't really need to know anything about the drug. Do you understand? But we'll store on the drug model itself, we'll keep the ID for the store on the drug. When we want to fetch drugs for a particular store, we'll just do virtual populate. We can do it with Mongoose, it's quite easy.
yeah, I understand. Okay. Okay. I get the population feature and I get parents model, but I cannot really picture it. So we'll have to like actually build this stuff. So what we can do is that when we are in testing, we can change it, we can remove it as needed. Is that fine? I lost you again. Okay. We'll come back to this later. So this is basically just the directory structure. This is the environment file. Yeah, this is the example file. My git ignore, package.json, all of that. Then config for what's this called? For process.env for the environment variables. Then the controllers, the authentication, error, home, store. So you just come to your controller. They are empty for now, so it's up to people working on them to populate them. And if there's any extra controller that needs to be added, then please feel free. Then the database connection, and then the routes. Yeah. Okay, so let me go to the documentation on Git. Okay. Is it this documentation you're talking about or the other project document?
No, it's this. It's no, not the full.
This one.
Very big.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you scroll down,
This side.
to I just want that you see this dev contribution guide. Yeah, this is a bit confusing for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can make like a demo to let's just see what. So
Yes.
I won't make
Yes.
when
No
I'm like
problem.
pushing my own guide. This like
No problem. Okay, so basically this dev contribution guide is for all of us that want to like work on this project. First of all, this is the main repo for the this thing for the project. So we'll come here and we will fork. I've already forked, so let me show you my when you fork, it will create like a copy of the repo on your own this thing on your own personal repository, to show forks from this thing. So after forking, the next thing is to clone it. Cloning is like bringing the repo down to your local. So you copy this HTTPS stuff, and then let me go back first to the main. Or should I like add the git command so that it will be easier for us to understand? So let me come to the.
no, I think you just do it like so that it will not become tedious for you. Do you understand?
Mm.
So if you can just like just give us this you can just like you do a demo of this procedure so that will not make things hard for you.
Yeah, okay, no problem. So first of
Right?
all,
So that you don't need the shortcuts there.
yeah, first of all, fork, you can't do this one from the command line. So you say I've already forked. So after forking, let's have it like this. Next step is cloning. So cloning is you forked it, you go to your own profile, the repository on your own profile, and then this is code. You copy it, you copy the link. You copy the link here in clone, or if you use git bash or git desktop, I don't know, but then me normally I use VS Code. So let me come to a new folder and just let me create like a new folder for testing. Let's call it test. Okay. Okay. So I open with code. You can do it with git bash, but I don't use git bash, so let me not just disgrace myself in public. Yes. Let me open the terminal now. So you can see this is my terminal using CMD. So the next thing to do is git clone and then the URL. And then you can give it a name like MedLocator. You can give the folder a name. So it's a clone, it will bring it down from your repo online to MedLocate, that's in your local machine. So let's wait for it to clone. Now, after cloning, it has cloned finished. Now, if you look at the directory, you can see MedLocate. That was what I called it when I said it should clone. So we change directory to MedLocate, right? So now we're in MedLocate. Now, as you're in MedLocate like this, so this is the Git repo. So if I do Git branch now to show all the branches in this repo, while that is working, let's come back to the documentation. Do I have too many tabs open or what? Yes, you can see if you do this branch, there's only one branch, which is main, after cloning the repo. So basically, this is your own personal copy. You can choose to work on this main branch. You can choose to create a new branch. So in the doc, right? So this create an upstream on your local machine to pull latest code from the develop branch of this repository. You can ignore number 3 for now because there's no develop branch. So if you want to be updating your local repo, you have to be doing it manually. I'll show you guys in a bit. So basically, let's move to number 4, create a new branch on your repo. So git branch, let's call it dev. So I created a new branch, dev. Then I'll switch to that new branch. So git checkout dev. So switch to branch dev. Now, if you do git branch again, it will show that I'm on the dev branch now. So on this dev branch is now where you do all your editing. So let's edit something. Okay, no. Before we start editing, we've created a new branch now on the new branch. Now, we cannot run this app just like this. So we need to so let's keep from number 4 now. We'll come back to the rest. We'll come to installation. To create your .env file for your environment variable. For Windows users, you use this command. For Bash or Shell, you use cp. Yeah. Me, I'm using Windows, so my own is copy.env.example space .env. So what this does is it creates a copy of this .env.example file and names it as .env. And in our git ignore, .env is ignored already. So it won't track it. .env.example just give an example, and then .env is the actual thing we're working with. So now there are environment variables there. So the next thing now is after copying this, I need to install my packages. So I just do npm install. I like using this shortcut I, so just do npm I, and it will install everything. Let me try and make it come now bigger. So it will install everything. Although that may take some time. It's my slow network. Yeah. Okay, it's done installing now. So after installing everything, all the packages, let me close. The next thing is to run it. So in the package.json, there are two scripts. One is the start script and then the test side. So nodemon is a dev dependency, basically. So I'm going to do npm run server instead of npm start, so that any changes can be updated and to restart by itself. Npm run server. So this one is basically just to like start the server and all of that. We are familiar with using this. So now it's running and it's connected to my database. When you create a copy of this example file, if you don't want to use your local MongoDB, you can change the URI. Yeah, feel free to change your port or your URI. So now this app is running on port 3000. If we open it localhost, port 3000. So I put a basic, very basic message there, hello and welcome to MedLocator API to show that it's working. So now it's working, we know it's working. Then you can come and make your changes in whichever folder you're working on. Let's say, or let's come and change a model, because let's change a model and say store.js now. Okay, it's still empty because they've not, I was waiting for it to load. I didn't remember that they've not updated it on the main list. So let me just copy this. Where's my store? Let me just cheat and just copy my store, or drug is like smaller. copy, and let me cancel this. I want to change the branch from develop because I already have a develop branch, so I don't want to. Wait. One dev branch now. Okay, dev. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so model drug. So paste. So now I've made an edit in the drug model now.